Welcome back to Dishing with Dr. Duer. Pull up a chair because we're about to dig in. Today, we are talking about the freedom to flourish. And I am especially excited to be joined by my longtime friend, Becky Sutton, who is the creator of an applied mathematics curriculum, which we're going to talk about more in the episode, which I'm really excited about. But this topic came about because we were talking about just really the blessed place that we're in our careers to be able to use our strengths and our skills in our profession and what we're doing. And one of the things that occurs to me and that we're going to talk about quite a bit is one of my favorite questions. What energizes you? Not what are you good at, not what are your strengths, but what energizes you and how we can utilize that in our job, in other areas of our life. And anyway, so we're just going to dig right in. So welcome, Becky. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
It is a little warm out here, but the weather is really nice. So we'll see if we make it hanging out outside. So I want to start with this question, exactly what we were just talking about. What energizes you?
That's a good question. I would say being with people that I enjoy, getting to hang out with friends, catching up. I would also say watching my kids do something that they love and solving problems. I'm a big problem solver, so I want to create a solution to something and make things work better, more efficiently.
So you get really excited when somebody's like, oh, this isn't working, or I wish this would do this or that. And you're like, I've got an idea for that. I think I can make that work.
That, or like I see something that's broken and I pick it up and I figure out a solution to fix it because I can't.
Yeah. Like that's exciting to you.
Yes.
If I gave you the choice between data entry or solving a puzzle,
1000%.
The puzzle, right? Where some people would be like, that's frustrating. I don't want to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel that way about this other
For sure. For sure. I very similar. I get really excited about being able to create something new, or it happens a lot. I will literally interrupt people and be like, "Look, I have an idea for that." So I love being able to come up with a new perspective or a new twist or a new way to do something. Basically, being able to bring creativity into my work is really energizing for me.
And it keeps it less boring. I
Sure.
get bored doing the same thing over and over. And so every so often I need a little change. And most times I create that change.
So talk to me a little bit about what you do and how you came up with the idea to incorporate basically what energizes you into being a math teacher.
So I teach high school math at a little 1A school in West Texas. It's the coolest place ever. And I love high school kids. But like I said, I get bored. And COVID happened and I went to my parents with my children for several weeks. My husband's a police officer, so he couldn't leave. He was essential. And I went to their house and my dad and I were bored, because we couldn't go anywhere. And we built a floating dock for his pond so we could fish better. And that's where the idea for me happened. I was like, man, there's a lot of math that goes into that. I teach high school math. I would really love to incorporate construction ideas with the math and make it work together and get to actually help kids build real things.
Right.
And so that was the initial start of the idea. And then it just kind of went from there.
So you kind of, because I imagine you can't just walk into school and say, so we're just going to build stuff now, right? Because you have required TEKs and you have all of the blah, blah, blah that goes into that. So how did you go about convincing your administration that this should be allowed?
It ended up being about 2 years. We started in 21, maybe. And we've been doing it 5 years. Okay. So I taught the next year after COVID, not doing this, but I ate lunch with the ag teacher. And I was talking to him and I was like, man, it would be really cool if we could combine our skills and teach a class together that does this. And I went to the counselor at the time and I was like, hey, here's my idea. And I kind of explained it to her. And she gave me 2 or 3 courses that could fit this idea. And so it's an actual course,
right,
that's got PEMS data, all the things. And it's called Applied Mathematics for Technical Professionals. And I took the TEKs And I was like, I could totally do this. We could make it work and we could write our own curriculum for it. And it's the coolest thing.
Yeah. So, would you say that being allowed to creatively integrate what energizes you has improved your job performance or, I don't know, your attitude towards teaching? Like, what changed? What's different now that you are doing that versus the regular curriculum?
The options that we had before were take pre-cal, which is I teach pre-cal as well. And pre-cal's hard if you do it right. And so we were in pre-cal together. I helped her pass.
I don't teach that.
Anyways, pre-cal's hard, and so there's certain students, a whole demographic of students that are not pre-cal driven. They don't want to go do hard math in college. They don't
Yeah.
want to do jobs that are math driven. The kids don't like worksheets. They don't like math in general, and this particular class that I've started allows them to answer the question, why do we need to know this? What we do in this class is we take kids and we put them on a team and they run a company all year long.
Yeah.
And so they use real money that we give them. They buy materials, they build projects that fit certain teaks. So for instance, this project has to have angles other than 90, or this project has to have circular elements so that we can fit our teaks and we can do the math over them. All their math that they do is over projects they build rather than theoretical things
Right.
worksheet.
Right.
And so not only are they building it, but then they are computing things based on it. And they're keeping track of their books, their money, their profit. Your goal is to be the most profitable company at the end of the year.
Yeah.
There's competition. It's
See,
so fun.
I think I might have learned math if there had been a competition or some purpose. And we've talked about this before, like the worksheets, the like that didn't interest me and it was so abstract. I mean, I made the grades, but if you had asked me to build something using what I learned, no, I don't think that wouldn't have happened because of the way I was being taught. So I think that's awesome that you're able to not only that you had the idea, but that you pursued actually doing it. So would you say, let's hypothetically, you came in and you were like, hey, I have this great idea. And then your admin was like, that's just not how we do things.
Well, I mean, I've been places like that. So perspective is powerful. It does take buy-in from admin. It takes a certain level of trust from them to allow that from me.
Yeah. Do you think that you would still be there if they had not allowed you to lean on your strengths or things that are interesting to you?
I think that so I'm back there from taking I left for a little bit to pursue my husband's career, and I got recruited back to come here. They trusted me to bring me back on purpose, right?
Yeah.
So and it's they just support me. So I don't see them not being supportive.
Right.
But had
Yeah.
they not been supportive, I mean, it was a pie in the sky idea, right?
Yeah.
It was like reaching for the stars. They just happened to let me. I might still be doing it, but now I know I could do this for a long time
Right.
because I love it. I love going to school every day.
Which I think is very rare.
Right.
Honestly,
You don't
the
hear teachers.
number, well, or any profession, people that are like, yes, today is Monday. I can't, like, I'm so excited. And I've always believed that people stay where they feel valued, where they feel like they're contributing something. And I feel like your career really illustrates that. Like that,
Absolutely.
we kind of talked about it's a small district, but it's a very small town. It's not like you were like, where do I want to live? Beulah, that's it. Right. So
Go Pirates.
and so odds are, if it was not a great working environment where you weren't allowed to pursue your interests, then it would be easier to convince you to leave.
Well, because of the board aspect.
Yes.
But like even in my normal classroom, because I teach algebra and pre-cal as well, I don't just teach this. They allow me to do innovative projects to apply the skills that I'm teaching so that the kids can learn it better. I get to teach it the way I want to teach it within the framework of hit your teaks.
Mhm.
But my principal, my superintendent, my school board, they're all so very supportive.
Yeah.
of the way that I do things and allowing me to be me. I don't fit in a box. Not fit in a
Which I think is hugely important in getting a little bit out of order of how I imagine we were going to discuss this.
sorry.
But no, it's fine. It's common sense when you say it out loud. It seems like if there's a better way to do something or something that delivers better results or whatever, then it makes sense to try the thing, do the thing. But micromanagement, I've seen that kill so many careers or cause really great people to leave and go somewhere else where they're allowed to do amazing things. I know always, I have it written in my office, it's in my email signature, it's the title of my blog. I absolutely love and live by George Bernard Shaw's quote, you see the world and you say why, or you see things and you say why, but I see things or I dream of things that never were and I say why not.
Absolutely.
And I've always been a why not person, which has gotten me in trouble and sometimes, but it has also allowed me to do some really amazing things under the right circumstances. And kind of like we were talking about yesterday, currently I'm in a position, I have a director who, he checks in and he's like, how are things going? But if I have an idea or something that I'm like, ooh, I think this could be really great, he's like, cool, go for it. If you think it's going to help people, do your thing.
Yeah.
And I have had so I've been in this position for 6 years, that I've had opportunities come along that even maybe pay a little bit more or have some different benefits. But the ability to lean into what energizes me and what I love to do, that is worth more than a paycheck to me.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that and loving when you go to work. And like there's often times when my students tell me there's a day off coming up because
Right?
I don't even know
You're not
that we're
counting
off
down.
on Monday because I'm happy.
Yeah.
And so I don't count down to the next
Right.
day or whatever. But I have been in the micromanaged situation.
Yes.
And I don't know how many administrators are watching this, but like if you have a lot of teachers leaving every year,
Yeah.
the year I left that place they tried to make me do all these check boxes and it was miserable and I just don't fit in a box. 11 out of 13 core teachers left campus and it's like the problem is you're not being supported, you're not being valued.
So I wonder why, and maybe it's because they can't see it, but I wonder what it is for, and I'll just say leadership. So I don't think it's just in education. I think it's in other areas too. You see someone excelling and doing great, and you see that they're being allowed to do these things, and then you see that when you micromanage and you put more and more and more check boxes in place, that people are leaving. What do you think it is that is difficult for leaders to let go a little bit?
Well, I think it's interesting that people spend all this time and money to get a degree to be qualified
Professional.
to be the
Yep.
professional and then they come in and they're given a script or they're giving a this is exactly how to do everything and it's mindless and some people some teachers
Some like
need
that.
that
Yes.
or like
Yeah.
that. They want to be told exactly how to do it. They don't want to necessarily think outside the box, and that's fine. But when you have an administrator or a principal or a boss that says, "Hey, you're the professional. I trust you," that's empowering, and you want to do a better thing. And then you want to continue to grow, and you want to continue to push, and you want to continue to outdo last year. And so that's kind of where I'm at. I want this year to be better. And last year was incredible. I want it to be better. I want it
Right.
to be better.
Because you're invested because that's your work, right?
Right.
Like that's your baby. Like we're doing amazing things. And I think that's a piece that a lot of people miss is when you are given that vote of confidence, then you do tend to work harder and try harder because you're invested in what you're doing versus what they're telling you to do. I do agree. I mean, my boss made that comment one time. He was like, I can allow you to do these things because you have good work ethic. So I recognize like sometimes there are people that need more direction or whatever. But I think that that's a big piece of being able to flourish, so to speak, is being given that vote of confidence. We were laughing about this earlier. I literally, in my job interview for this position, was like, I will work for stickers. I will work for, hey, you did a good job. And so My director will occasionally send me a text or something and it'll be like, there's your sticker. And I'm like, thank you. Because that is something that is valuable to me to invest my time into something I really love and then to get feedback that that was appreciated or that helped someone. Another thing we were talking about, and I think this would be fantastic for leadership in general, is to hire for strengths rather than skill. And I've been on some interview committees where, you just get a feel for a person and their resume stellar. But I'm sitting here like, this is not going to work out. And one of the things I would love to do someday in some capacity, I don't even know what that would look like. I don't know if the Savannah Bananas need a mental health person, but I was watching them talk about their interview process and they were talking about they don't ask for your resume. They want a future resume. They don't want to know what you've done. They want to know what you want to do.
Absolutely.
And they are looking for people with innovative ideas.
And vision.
Yes. And I love that. Now I recognize again, some people that's not what energizes them. And that might be terrifying for some people. And it's true. But that's why I think it's so important to ask the question when you're talking to potential people that you would hire, or even I talk about this all the time with students, with my own personal children. How often do we ask that question? What do you love to do? What energizes you? Because I think that's another area that we can unintentionally micromanage.
Our children?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Hard not to
they do not
sometimes.
enjoy that.
I know.
I have found my teenage daughter.
Yeah. We did an episode several months ago with my teenage daughter, and that was one of the things that she said, which when we started the whole teenage journey, I just always told her, I will trust you until I have a reason not to.
Oh, absolutely.
But you know that if I ever have a reason not to, then. And so fortunately, that has always worked for us and she's made it through. But she was talking about how she appreciated that we would always have conversations. And her advice was you can't have power queries, which is I think what micromanaging ultimately is. I'm in control. I'm in control. And for so many reasons, that's not a good thing for employees and that's not a good thing for children either. Guidance, yes, but absolute control, because then you get an 18-year-old that's leaving home and you're saying make good choices and they're like, what's a choice? I've never done
I
that.
never had a choice.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, it's interesting, people like you and I love the freedom to flourish,
Yes.
right? But how bad would it be that we come home and we don't give our children the freedom to flourish as well and we micromanage them because we don't like to be micromanaged.
Right.
I'm not a micromanager. I'm not organized in any regard. I need more Stephanie in my life, absolutely. But with that freedom comes responsibility.
Yes.
And so as long as you teach them, hey, take the freedom and go for it. I'm not going to clip your wings. You go for it. But you have to take care of all your things that you have to take care of.
Right.
And you have to do the job. Even if it's your way, go do the job.
Yes.
But in the event that you don't take the responsibility, that's where a boss or a parent or whatever can tighten the reins back up.
Yeah.
And it's not as fun.
Absolutely. And I think that probably is why you're allowed to do what you're allowed to do, because you've proven that one, I'm getting it done. And even though it's unconventional, your scores on all these standardized tests are really good, probably better than most. Yeah.
We tend to be at the top of the region. Yes.
Yeah. And I feel like this is just a hunch. It's not based on any kind of data, but my guess is they are enjoying what they're learning, and so they're actually absorbing it because they're using it. So that
we have
translates.
we have a ton of fun in everything. We have a ton of fun in algebra and they perform for me. We have a ton of fun in pre-cal and they perform for me. And guys, if y'all could see some of the projects that my kids build in
they're
applied
amazing.
mathematics, like they are so professional looking, and we give them that standard of like, if it doesn't look professionally done, it doesn't come out of the shop.
Right.
And so you don't get to sell it if it looks like junk. It has to be pretty. It has to be finished. It has to be accurate. It has to be, really well done. And man, I've got so many cool projects that we've done.
Yeah.
And so
I've seen them and they are, I mean, it's something that you would, it's not people pity buying stuff that these kids made. Like
No,
it's really well done.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so I think that translates. I mean, I think that's true, like, in the things that I do, the more creativity and latitude I'm given, I mean, I'm definitely extra in everything that I do,
right.
and
You are.
somebody allowing me to be extra, super great. I've enjoyed it quite a bit. So, yeah, I think that's true for our kids. I think it's true for employment. I think it's true just in life when you're given that vote of confidence and then you take that responsibility and you're able to make something out of it, it translates into the finished product, whether that is productivity or scores or, customer satisfaction, any of those things.
If you're given the freedom to do your very best in a way that is fun for you, oftentimes, and I've experienced this from my students, oftentimes, it is even way better than your boss imagined or you
Yeah.
imagined for your kids. And you're blown away by the product when you just let them fly.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So let's talk about reality, though, for a moment. Just from conversations that I have with people, my situation is pretty rare. When
Oh,
I say I love my job and I love going to work, well, I truly mean that. But it's because of the freedom that I have to make my work what it is. But the reality is that's not true for a lot of people.
no. And that's sad.
It is
That's
sad.
sad.
But what do you think, or do you think that it's possible, even if you have a micromanager, to find ways to pull in what energizes you or to pull in things that you're good at into the box that you're having to work within?
I think it's harder, but I think that ultimately finding joy is a choice through
Yeah.
responsibility. You can find joy, you can be grateful. If you can live in gratitude, you can find joy. And I will say in the place where I was being micromanaged to such a degree that I had to leave. It was very difficult for me to find joy, but I still enjoyed the kids.
Yeah.
Like we still had a great relationship. It was good, but leadership is so important
Yeah.
for the success and the morale
Right.
and everything.
I would agree. The previous position I was in, there was just a whole lot of that's not how we've done it. That's not how we do it. That's not how we've always done it, which is the worst for me because I'm always thinking of ways that we could do better or things that could be different. Um, but I still found ways within my lane, right? We get told to stay in our lane quite a bit. I still found ways in my lane to creatively accomplish something that weren't necessarily as big as I wanted them to be, but within my control. Sometimes, even if we find ourselves in a situation where it's not the dream and we don't necessarily have someone saying, "What do you love to do? Go
Go
do
for it.
that."
Right.
I think we can still find ways to recognize what it is that energizes us and find a way to incorporate that in whatever it is we're doing. It may just look a little different than the pie in the sky dream.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
Similar to working within gratitude and finding joy, like with the creativity of things. Okay, I can't do this whole program, but I do have a bulletin board and I can be creative with that.
That's true.
I was still able to come up with things within my lane that allowed me to still like my job to a degree.
Same.
But eventually, when the opportunity came, because my strengths were not, I wasn't getting any stickers. Okay. And when I wasn't getting stickers and then an opportunity came, it was not hard for me to leave. And so I do think there's a lesson in that.
But it is hard for you to leave the current opportunity
Oh, yeah.
because it is such that you have the
Exactly.
freedom.
Exactly. But that goes back to, I think people stay where they feel valued and where they can contribute and where, I mean, we're just naturally happier when we're in our elements. When we're in our zone, when we're doing what we were kind of meant to do, then we're happier, we're more energetic, we have a more positive attitude. Like just the result is better. Well,
And the more that you portray that and you show growth and you show results, the less and less that box will be there
yeah.
because the trust will grow. And so sometimes it does start really
Mhm.
small and do well with the small thing and then they let you do a bigger thing. And
Right.
sometimes it's a building process.
Yeah.
But definitely buy-in from your leadership to believe in you.
Well, and advocating, you can't
Yes.
get something you don't ask for.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you ask big and it works out.
Yeah.
So you never know. So I want to finish with a lightning round. I haven't done this before, but I think it'll be fun. So I have
Okay.
3 questions
And I have to answer quickly.
and we're just going to answer and go.
Okay.
First thing that comes to your mind. Okay. First one, what energizes you every time?
Creating something from nothing.
Okay. Love it. What is one leadership habit that everyone should practice?
Listening.
Love it. And finish the sentence. Freedom to flourish means.
Unbelievable production.
Okay. I like it. So Becky Sutton, lifetime friend and fellow wine otter. I've loved this
Absolutely.
conversation.
This is great.
Really appreciate you taking the time to sit out here in the sun with me. I really appreciate you having this conversation with me. I
Well,
think
thanks for
that
asking.
it is a wonderful concept that I hope if you're currently not given the freedom to flourish, I hope it gives you some courage to advocate for that. If you are in the dream and you are being allowed to do things that energize you, then congratulations. And, when you get in a position to spread the love, do that. And if you are in leadership of any kind, then I hope that this gives you some inspiration to be open minded and maybe to take a chance and let go of the reins a little bit. I think the results that you will see will be amazing. Like, share, subscribe so you don't miss an episode. We have another one coming up soon on being unfiltered, which ought to be interesting. Thanks again for listening and or watching. And that's it. Fishing with Dr. Duer. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.